Good afternoon. Welcome to the office of the Krakow Film Festival at Basztowa Street. I am the head of this event, of this festival. It is my big pleasure to introduce you our guests from USA, but not only from USA, because both the protagonists born in our country, in Poland, in Warsaw and in Krakow. So I met Todd Landing, the director, in China some years ago, and we had a great time as jury members. But I've never met the protagonists of this film, but I saw you both in this beautiful movie, and I loved you. And I want to see you personally also in Krakow in the future. So now I am very happy to have you here, Saul and Ruby. You are brave guys and with a big energy, and I love this energy. I have to be the same as you. So Anita, the micro is yours.
Thank you. So now maybe formally I would like to invite you to our Q&A session after the screening of the film Saul and Ruby's Holocaust Survivor Band, which is from the competition section Doc Film Music. And once again, I would like to introduce our guests. There's the director of the film with us, Todd Landing. Hi, Todd. Nice to meet you once again.
Hi, Anita.
And our very, very special guests, Ruby and Saul, Saul Dreyer and Ruby Sosnowicz. Hi guys, shalom.
Shalom.
That's great to have you all in Krakow. I have one important question to Saul personally, because I'm talking to you from my place at the moment, which is in the former Jewish district Kazimierz, and it's you know this place very well, and I'm exactly maybe 5 minutes from your place where you were born at the Celna Street. I'm at the Gazowa Street, so it's very short distance, and it's a beautiful coincidence to have such kind of meeting with you at our festival. So let's start maybe just from the very beginning, and I will have at first the question to Todd. Because it will be a very standard and very basic question, but there are some things that should be said. So could you tell us, Todd, why actually you decided to tell the world the story of Saul and Ruby?
Well, I discovered Saul and Ruby in a very short piece on the New York Times. It was a 4-minute piece, and I saw it. And I was looking for a new project. I was finishing a project for PBS here in the States. And I fell in love with these two men when I saw this short little piece. And I assumed that the filmmaker who had done the short piece was doing a longer piece. And so I was upset because I thought, this is an amazing story. These are incredible men. I wish I had been the one to do the longer film on them. And a friend of mine said, you don't know if they're doing a longer film or not. And so I looked into it, and I ended up calling Saul, and I asked, is there a longer film being done on you? And he said, actually, no. But he said, now that the New York Times piece came out, he said, there are several production companies that are interested in doing a longer piece. And so I jumped on a plane immediately. I live in Chicago, and flew to Florida, Fort Lauderdale, which is near where Saul lives. And we met in a diner, and I was with a colleague of mine, and we spoke to him and convinced him to allow us to tell the story of him and Ruby and the Holocaust Survivor Band. And all I can say is, upon meeting Saul and then meeting Ruby, I knew that this was going to be a very, very important story, and it connected to my own personal history, and that was a strong pull for me. So that's how I got involved in this. That's how it started, and that was about three years ago.
While watching your film, Todd, I had the very strong impression as if you were a member of the family. So, could you tell us how you found the way to Saul, to Ruby, but also to their wives, to the relatives?
Well, that is always one of the challenges in doing these types of films is getting very close to your subjects, getting your subjects to trust you. And I'm sorry, I got to turn down the mic here. I'm hearing my echo. So it took time. Saul and Ruby were on board very quickly, but in terms of the wives especially, it took time to gain their trust and the trust of the rest of the family. And that's how you become a member of the family, is you establish the trust, and they need to know that you're there for the true purpose of telling an honest story about their family. You're not there to exploit them. You're not there to just make money off of them. I mean, you're there because you truly care about the story. And so over time, I spent 2.5 years filming them, and so over that course of time, we became very close, and there was the trust that was essential.
Okay, thank you. Now I would like to ask something. Maybe Saul, the first. What was your reaction, Saul, when you watched Todd's film the first time?
Well, I didn't have the opportunity to watch the film the first time because right after the film was in Miami Beach, the first showing. We had to go on the stage and prepare because after the film, the way we're talking to you now, me and Ruby, we were playing for the people in a live, a little concert for 15, 20 minutes, I don't remember. So I didn't see the end of the film, but finally the Metro Golden Film Company sent me a copy and I saw it in my house. And I studied it and I looked at it several times. The first thing I cried. After that, I looked at it, I made sure, Pat, I give you all the Anna, you did a beautiful job. I loved it.
Thank you. And what about you, Ruby? Where is Ruby? Okay.
Hello.
Hi.
What question?
The question was the same. Actually, what was your reaction when you saw Todd's film the first time? Do you remember?
Oh, yeah. I was crying because I saw my wife also in a bad situation, and I didn't know what's wrong, but it's very physically. I took that. The same thing. I didn't see the end of the movie yet, but what I saw, it's very nice.
Mm-hmm. So I would like to ask you, Saul and Ruby, about your collaboration at the moment. Does it still exist? Do you play together or not?
We are playing together only so far when we are invited to after the filming of our documentary. But we're very friendly. We had certain discussion, but now lately I speak to Ruby, Ruby speak to me. I'm looking forward the first time that I was ready. Before the virus, I was ready to fly to Poland, back to Poland, and I was inviting Ruby to come along with me. But the virus came and we all stuck.
Okay. So Ruby, are you going to have any gigs together in the future? Are you planning?
I don't know. Maybe yes.
Okay. It would be really, really great. So I have also a very personal questions to you guys, Saul and Ruby. It's about the role of the music in your life, because what I realized from the film is that it must be something more that expression of your Jewish identity. So could you please tell us about the music, the klezmer music especially, what is its role in your life? Saul?
I have a very unique experience. Being in the concentration camp, I was listening at a chazan, this is a cantor, you know, from the synagogue, by name David Verdiger. And he used to, every day, every night when we came from work, he used to sing. And I saw something was missing. And the beat was missing. We were singing with him. I was not singing. Finally, I decided to help him. So I had a Polish man who was my best friend. He was working in the same factory, and he was in the concentration camp from the outside. And I asked him, Stanislav, I want you to bring me a spoon. I need a spoon to eat with. And he went to his locker, and he told me, go to my locker, you're going to find a spoon there. And I find 2 spoons. When I saw those spoons, I turned around one evening and started to clap. 1, 2, 3, tap, tap, tap. And whenever the David Verdiger was singing with a group of us, I was playing the beat. And that's why I survived. After the war in Italy, where the ship, I was in the displaced person camp, one morning, a truck came in and brought a piano with a set of drums. We were young people. We were living in private homes. We had a hall where we used to come every night and dance. And I decided, and the director of the camp was peddling those 2 instruments. One guy did say that he plays piano, he would like to play. And nobody wanted to touch the drums. And I was the one that volunteered, and I played the drums, and that's how I started to learn the drums. I was at that time 19 years old, and every second night, whenever we had a gathering, I used to play with the fellow that on the piano, dancing music, and the young people, we were all young, we were not married, some of them were playing music, and that's how I learned how to play the drums.
That's really amazing story. And what about you, Ruby? You are a professional musician.
Yeah, my life is music. I played music many years. After the war, I start to look for wherever music was played, I was always there to look who's playing, how they're playing. And I took lessons in Germany. After the war, I said I have to play the accordion. I love the accordion. And I had a teacher, a German teacher. He came to the camps. And we didn't have money to pay that time, but he said, I'm gonna teach you to play the accordion. He took me to his place where he rehearsed with all the musician accordions, and he gave me an accordion, and I felt the accordion, I liked the accordion, and he said, you like to play accordion. This accordion, you're gonna have it. I give it to you a present, because this accordion is a Jewish guy was killed during the war, and they took away the accordion and they give it to our how you call it, group where we're playing German, and now you got an accordion. And he started to teach me, and I started to play music. And since then, my life is music. I went to Israel. I performed. I had my own band on the street. They called it the klezmer band. Klezmer is a musician. But in English, they think this is musicians. No, klezmer is a musician who plays outside the street, on the street, and and that's what that I like, the klezmer music. The Jewish music is klezmer music, but
Thank
I
you.
play all kinds.
Okay. Todd, your film is also, I think, about the silence that often surrounds a Holocaust survivor. And I would like you to ask about this silence. Don't you think that the music, especially klezmer music, playing it but also listening to it, is maybe can help or not someone to break this silence? How do you see it when
Yes,
you attend?
I think you bring up an interesting contrast between this idea of silence versus the music, and I think they both play a really important role in the lives of survivors, and I think the silence is extremely important as a place, as a space for people who are survivors and who are not survivors, who are Jewish and not Jewish, to think about the Holocaust, its meaning. When you go to the camps, and we, as you know in the film, went to Treblinka and Plaszow. Actually, Treblinka didn't make it into the film, but you see Plaszow, you see Auschwitz, and the silence is profound when you're there. On the other hand, as Ruby just said, music is my life. I know Saul feels the same way. Music is his life. And the music has such a powerful healing factor to it. And that's one of the elements of the story that I was so drawn to, was the fact that this is an unusual. I've never seen a quote unquote, I don't want to call it a Holocaust story, because it's not a Holocaust story. It's a story that has Holocaust survivors as the main subjects, and of course we touch on the issue of the Holocaust for certain, especially when we go to Poland. But the music plays such an important role in their healing process, and the joy that they find in the music, the joy that they find in playing in front of large groups of people and being appreciated for who they are, for their stories, for what they survived, is to me, this was just incredible. So that's how I see your question. That's my answer.
My next question is to Ruby and Saul, and it also seems to be a little bit personal. Because when I was looking at you guys in the film, I had the impression that I was wondering how it was possible that you, being in your 90s, and after so many horrible atrocities you had experienced, that you were so and you are so strong, so vital, so full of energy. So my question is, what actually gives you this passion for life, Ruby? Okay, do you want to start, Saul? So, okay, let's move to Saul.
Well, I'll be very honest with you. When I was 65 years old, I had cancer. They cut my stomach out. And eventually, after 29 years, I'm in a remission. But right after my operation, after my chemotherapy, I decided that I won't drink, I won't smoke, I won't use any prescription whatsoever. For the last 29 years, that's what I'm doing. Keeps me alive, gives me energy, and I'm happy what I do. If every morning, every afternoon, whenever I have time, the first thing I do, I turn my DJ, I put my monitor on, and I play my drums, and I love it. This gives me life, This give me my protection, give me everything. You have to understand, I'm 95 years old. I'm a father of 4 children. I've got 10 grandchildren and got 3 great-grandchildren. So between them and my music, I'm busy and I'm alive.
Thank you, Saul. And what about you, Ruby?
Yeah, I'm up in the morning. If I don't feel good, I go to my keyboard, my accordion, and I play music. And I'm closing my eyes and I play music from many years back. I remember what my parents used to sing songs. I remember Polish songs. I play Polish songs, old songs, and I don't speak good Polish, but when I'm playing music, I sing Polish songs too, and my life is only music. That makes me be alive. Whatever, and I don't feel good, I play music, and that makes me all my pains, everything, to feel complete, a different human being.
Thank you very much. Todd, yes?
I just want to add one thing that I'm going to jump in and say I think the other thing that makes these 2 men so vibrant and so alive and so full of energy and so full of life is what they survived. And what they survived is amazing. And there's some people that come out of that completely traumatized and pull away to protect themselves and to try and heal themselves. But Saul and Ruby share, while they have different personalities, Saul is very vivacious, speaks a lot. Ruby's more quiet. But what they do both share is this love for absolute life and living. And, we all talk about we want to live our days to the fullest. And these 2 men do it. I mean, they've done it ever since they had survived the Holocaust. I mean, these were the lessons that they learned. So I think that's also part of why these 2 men are just amazing. And again, that was another one of the things that attracted me to doing this story.
Todd, I think that your film concentrates not only on the past and present, but for me, it's also a little bit future-oriented film. I mean, the future of this world. And I have to tell you that in this festival program, we have at least very strong documentaries about the rise of neo-Nazi movements in Europe. And so definitely something is going wrong with this world. And when I refer to the situation at the United States at the moment, on the other hand, I mean, all those protests against racism after George Floyd's death, I think that your film is even more current at the moment than before. What do you think about it? How do you feel with it? Unfortunately.
Yes, unfortunately. Yes, unfortunately. I totally agree. I mean, even before George Floyd incident occurred, we all felt that the story is very relevant because of what you just mentioned. I mean, we all were seeing around the world this movement to the right, this white nationalist movement, neo-Nazi movements, happening not just in the U.S. but all over the world. The situation in the U.S. It just underscores what the intolerance that exists everywhere, and underneath the intolerance, underneath the racism, is economic inequality, and that's been around for a long time. And as long as there is huge economic inequality, which has just been growing and growing over the past, at least I'd say, 10 years, but even more so under the past 4 years with Trump in power, especially in the US, and also other right-wing leaders across the world. The economic inequality is just, I think, at the root of a lot of the intolerance and racism that's occurring. When people are afraid, they're going to be at their very worst. So I think we wanted to end the film with a message, and I think that while the film doesn't focus on this issue, I think it's because, again, where these men come from, what they survived, which is exactly that, absolute intolerance and anti-Semitism and racism, the theme is there. The theme is throughout the film. So at the very end, we just wanted to bring it right to the surface and, show some contemporary footage and have Saul's words at the very end of the film, talking about the racism and intolerance and how it has to stop. I mean, we just thought that would kind of give a punctuation mark to the end of the film.
Thank you, Todd. Saul, would you like to add something?
Yes, I promised myself, and I promised to the whole world that till I die, I will fight anti-Semitism. I had a program in Brazil, in São Paulo. They gathered 100 very important people. And my main speech was about anti-Semitism. And I told them, never again, never again, never again. That's my logo. And I'm very proud of it. Thank you.
And I think that this moment in the film, when you have a trip to Poland, is also about it, not only about the past. Of course, this is your personal journey to your places where you were born, but it's also about the future, I guess. Ruby, would you? Saul, okay, Saul,
yeah.
Please.
I have been to Poland already 6 times. Since 1989.
Mm-hmm. Thank you. And Ruby, would you like to say something about it?
I see the world that history repeats. I'm only afraid shouldn't happen again, like happened in the 39, 40, because I see the kids today. Some kids even don't know what does the Holocaust mean. I spoke with somebody, an older man, like a 40-year-old, and he showed by me that sign Holocaust. He said, "What is Holocaust?" I say, "You don't know what's a Holocaust?" He said, "No." I had to explain him. Imagine what kind of world we live in. The kids today even don't know. They don't believe that happened. It could happen again. And that's what scares me.
Thank you, Ruby. Now let me check if we have any questions from our audience. Not yet. So I have to tell you that for me, in Todd's film, probably the most moving moments were those when you, Saul and Ruby, spontaneously start to speak Polish. It's really, really heartbreaking. Generally, this whole mixture of English, Polish, and Yiddish in the film is something very, very touching. Do you remember, maybe I will ask Saul at the moment, do you remember any songs in Polish, and could you sing it to us? It would be great.
You want me to sing it for you? A song?
Yes, that's
Umówiłem się z nią na dziewiątą, tak jest. Później wezmę od szefa konto i nie pamiętam więcej, nie.
Beautiful. And
Good
Ruby,
job.
what song do you remember?
Ja. Ta ostatnia niedziela, dzisiaj się rozejdziemy, dzisiaj się rozstaniemy na wieczny czas. Dzisiaj nie pora szukać wymówek, co
Oh my God, I couldn't imagine a more beautiful ending for that meeting. So thank you very much. Schönen Dank, dziękuję wam bardzo. And thank you, Todd, very much for this film and for bringing it to us. Okay, Saul.
Zapraszam wszystkich, którzy słyszeli nasz QA, żeby poszli saulryan.com, będą widzieć moją przeszłość, przyszłość, prezent i przyszłość.
Dziękujemy. Thank you very much. Sorry for my Polish. Thank you very much, Saul. And okay, so thank you for the film. Thank you for being with us, Mazel Tov, Todd.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
And I hope see you in Krakow. In reality.
I got my tickets already. I got my tickets.
Really?
I can go. Yes, ma'am.
Oh my God! So maybe you will be able to rebook them.
I've got a son who lives in Israel. They had a baby boy last year. I went to the bris and I'm stuck. I didn't see him for a year and a half already.
Okay, so thank you guys. And
The minute Trump says, może mogę jechać, zamykam drzwi, jedę Polski i zabieram Ruby ze mną. I hope he's gonna go with me. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
So see you in Poland. Bye.
Thank you, Anita.